Good afternoon and welcome to the 330 Sports Show. My name is Justin Coffin. Today is Tuesday, May 31st, 2022. We are broadcasting live from the Commerce Building in downtown Youngstown, Ohio at Youngstown Studios. Joe Danier is going to be joining me in just a little bit. He's going to get a lot of random questions that he has not been prepped for. But before we do that, we're going to go over the weekend in sports. We're going to do that tip of the cap, which is a, hey, good job, and wag of the finger, not so good. The Babu from Seinfeld, the Dikembe Mutombo, get that weak stuff out of here. So I'm going to start in sports. We're going to start in the NBA. We're going to start with the Eastern Conference Finals that just wrapped up Game 7. So Jimmy Butler, who has become Jimmy Buckets to my 3-year-old daughter. She just loves the guy based on my mom being a huge fan of him. But Jimmy Butler really deserves a tip of the cap. He really carried the Miami Heat all the way to Game 7. Even though they were the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, they were not the best team. Boston by far was the better team, especially in that second half of the season. Boston actually was 25-25 at one point, and has since blown up, and they are all the way into the NBA Finals. So tip of the cap to Jimmy Butler for getting there. Tip of the cap to the Boston Celtics, who will take on the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals starting Thursday. And fun fact here, Boston is the only team in the entire NBA that has a winning record versus the Golden State Warriors since Steve Kerr took over in 2014. So that's pretty impressive there. Jason Tatum, tip of the cap to him. He is the Eastern Conference MVP. He was named to the first team All-NBA this past week and definitely deserves that recognition because he showed out in that series. He did a fantastic job, and he is really becoming one of the best players in the NBA, not just at his position, but in the entire league. So congratulations to him. We will also have on Thursday's show. Thursday's show is going to be kind of dedicated to the NBA Finals. However, it's going to be more of a fun version. We are going to go over the all-time rosters for both the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors, formerly the San Francisco Warriors. So we're going to go over that and just have some fun with it. Dave Spires, Eric Simeone, and Greg Kirchner will join me for that. So that will be a lot of fun. Another tip of the hat. In the NBA, you might have heard of this guy before, but LeBron James, this is not basketball related, but up in Akron, about 45 miles up the road, went to the school that bears his name and just went and congratulated all the kids on their last day of school. I thought that was pretty cool, especially after, the negative news that was in the, with schools and elementary kids and all that stuff last week. So I thought that was a nice little change of pace. So tip of the cap to LeBron James, and whether you like him or not as a basketball player, my God, that guy has done so much for so many off the court. Sticking with the Lakers, Darvin Hamm was named the new head coach of the LA Lakers. So tip of the cap to him. Good luck to him. He's a former slam dunk champion and was an assistant, I believe, with the Milwaukee Bucks. So that's pretty cool. Luke Walton, who is Bill Walton's son, former player for the Cavaliers way back when, early on in the LeBron James days, joins the Cavs now as an assistant coach, formerly a Lakers coach, formerly, I think he was also with the Sacramento Kings, and most recently, I believe, with the Golden State Warriors. I'll have to check on that, but he will join the Cavs as an assistant coach under JB Bickerstaff. Also, switching to the NFL. It is 100 days until kickoff in the NFL, which, you look outside today. I don't know where you guys are watching from, but it's upwards of 90 degrees today. It is hot. It is feeling like summer, but 100 days till kickoff in the NFL. So, kickoff is not very far. So enjoy those next 99 days before the NFL kicks off. David Njoku, congratulations. Tip of the cap to him, signing a 4-year, north of $56 million contract extension with the Browns. If you look at the numbers, it's more likely a 2-year contract that can be reworked. But the NFL, the salary cap really doesn't exist. It's kind of a made up thing. But if you know how to work the system like the Browns brass does, it's a nice thing. And I think a lot of people are complaining about this contract. It's too much money, but I think he is being paid now, not for previous production, but what he could potentially do. So congratulations to David Njoku. Will be with the Browns for at least the next few seasons. Jadeveon Clowney, this happened on last Thursday's show, I believe, but we just didn't get to it. But Jadeveon Clowney re-ups with the Browns, solidifying that defensive line. They still have some moves they could make at defensive tackle, but you got Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, you brought in Chase Winovich, you draft the rookie. So that line looks a lot better than it did a month ago. And also Aaron Donald, interesting note, but tip of the cap to him for saying this. He is content with basically just walking out, retiring. Arguably the best player in the NFL, definitely the best defensive player in the NFL, definitely the best defensive tackle in the NFL. But you could put him up there in the top 5 at any at overall positions, up there with all the quarterbacks. But he is totally fine with walking away. Now that may be leverage. That might be, hey, we won a Super Bowl. I'm healthy. I want to walk away from the game at a high point. So either way, tip of the cap to him, because if he walks away a winner, walks away making a lot of money. But also, if he doesn't retire, he's going to come back with a lot more money in his pocket using that leverage with the LA Rams. Tip of the cap to bettors and the sports odds makers for making Ohio State a -280 favorite to win the Big Ten. The second place team is Michigan at +650. So for any layman's out there, you would have to bet $280 on Ohio State just to win 100 if they win the Big Ten. And you would for a $100 bet for Michigan, you would have to bet you would get 650 back, if that makes sense. Wisconsin comes in at third at +1,000. Penn State is in fourth with +1,400. So Ohio State, the odds-on heavy favorite to win the Big Ten. Checking in real quick with Major League Baseball, tip of the cap to the New York Yankees, the Minnesota Twins, and the Houston Astros in the American League, who have large leads in their divisions. Tip of the cap to the New York Mets, Milwaukee Brewers, and Los Angeles Dodgers with big leads in their division. Our hometown guy, Jose Ramirez, tip of the cap to him, leads the Major League all of Major League Baseball with 51 RBIs, which is pretty great at this point of the season. And tip of the cap to Jesus Sanchez. You may have never heard of this guy, but he plays for the Miami Marlins. He hit a 496-foot home run at Coors Field, which is in Denver, the thinner air there. But that is the longest home run traveled in 3 years. So pretty cool there. And the Detroit Tigers today called up Roger Clemens' son, his youngest son, which makes me feel extremely, extremely old. So tip of the cap to that kid. We'll see how well he does in his Major League debut. Switching to the NHL, we're going through these kind of quickly, but the Eastern Conference Finals are set. The New York Rangers versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. So good luck to both teams. Tampa Bay quietly on a hunt for a three-peat. And then former guest of the show and WKBN reporter Danny Pulatsky is a big New York Rangers fan, so good luck to them for her. In the Western Conference Finals, we got the Colorado Avalanche taking on the Edmonton Oilers. So the Final Four in the NHL is set. A tip of the cap goes out to Sam Burns, who wins the Charles Schwab this past weekend golf tournament, and right now, the opening round, the practice rounds are going on for the Memorial Tournament. Will be in Columbus, Ohio, which is Jack's tournament this weekend. It's awesome. I'm actually headed down there Thursday night to go to the tournament on Friday. Really looking forward to that. One of the most beautiful courses you will ever see, and it's right down there in Dublin, Ohio, right outside of Columbus at Muirfield. Tip of the cap. We don't talk a whole lot of racing, but Marcus Ericsson earns $3.1 million for his Indy 500 win this weekend, which is the largest payout in the race's history. And then in entertainment news, tip of the cap to any Top Gun fans who love that movie. I have not seen it yet, but and I don't think we're gonna be givers. There's gonna be a bunch of planes flying around. It's gonna be entertaining and exciting. But that movie was the largest grossing movie in Memorial Day weekend history, surpassing a ton of other movies you've definitely heard of. But a big box office opening for Top Gun, and everybody I've heard that has seen it loved it. So
prepare for the 80s movies reboots on Memorial Day for the next 10 years.
Exactly. This movie was supposed to come out in like 2019, and COVID and whatnot and all that stuff. But but you're right. I think like their 80s, we're going to be seeing more Footloose and Dirty Dancing
Indiana
and
Jones 900.
Indiana Jones is coming out next year. I just heard that. Harrison Ford announced too. He will die playing that character. No one else will play that character. And if you know Harrison Ford, he's a very interesting dude. Also, I'm not sure if you know this, but speaking of the 80s, Stranger Things came out this past weekend on Friday night off of Netflix. I have not seen it yet. I'm still like watching The Sopranos all the way through. So I usually watch like one episode of The Sopranos a night, and I'm trying to like finish that before I, start a new one. But everybody that I heard that has seen Stranger Things really, really likes that show a lot too.
I started watching Billions. I don't know. Have you seen that one yet?
It's good. Yeah, it's good. The last season gets a little wonky, but it is very, very good. He is actually the main character in that show is based off the New York Mets owner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's very, very interesting. I can't think of the Mets owner, but it's very interesting, and it'll take a lot of ups and downs, but it's Billions. They all make money in the end. So
that's right.
And then also a tip of the cap to another movie star this weekend. Ray Liotta passed away. He was the star of Goodfellas, and he was also Shoeless Joe Jackson in the Field of Dreams movie, if you remember that. We are actually doing a movie breakdown. We've been talking about doing this for a while, but we've done Varsity Blues, we've done Happy Gilmore, we've done Home Alone, we've done a couple other ones in there, Groundhog Day. But we're going to bring it back next week. So next Tuesday's show will be all about the movie Goodfellas and a breakdown of that, which if you're from Youngstown, there's some Youngstown ties into that movie, including a copy of The Vindicator, which is in one of the very final scenes, which is pretty cool. So, we will we'll get into that next week, next Tuesday's show. You can look forward to that. And then also, final tip of the cap here. Thank you to all that have served in the military. I think a lot of people forget what Memorial Day is all about, and just thank you, everyone out there, that has served or is serving, because we wouldn't be able to do what we do without you. So appreciate to all of our military. Now, let's turn the page, wag of the finger. I don't have as many on this list, but I got a couple other like little nitpicks, little counterpoints that I want to point out here. So wag of the finger. Now, this guy's a great coach. It's his first year in the NBA as a head coach, but and I hope I get his name right, but Imwe Udoka, I believe is how you say it, the Boston Celtics head coach. Now, if you watch the NBA Finals or if you've been watching the NBA playoffs, look at the Boston Celtics head coach. He's a good dude. He's a former NBA player, played with the Spurs, was drafted, I think, in the second round. But he only wears a mask. And whether you're for a mask or against the mask, I don't care, because that's neither here nor there in this wag of the finger. He only wears the mask on his chin. It's never over his face. It's never off. It's only on his chin. So I'm just saying, go ahead and look for that. If you watch any of the NBA finals this next couple weeks, because I don't know why it was just something someone pointed out to me. Never noticed it before. Now I can't unsee it. That's the only thing I see is the mask on his chin. Another wag of the finger, non-sports related. Put away your damn shopping carts, people. It drives me nuts. I've said it about 10 times on this show, but I will continue to revisit it. I had to go to Giant Eagle, pick up a prescription today. 5 shopping carts just randomly in the parking lot. And I'm talking at like in the morning. Like, what the hell's wrong with you people? Put your shopping carts away. It tells us.
I want to tell you, when I went down to Austin,
yeah,
I stood up on the plane just for you when they just for you.
Now you no, that would have pissed me off.
I know.
Okay.
I did it just for you.
All right. Now you can stand up, because like I'm a taller person, so in those seats, your legs get a little tired and stuff, or they need stretched out. That's how I am. I have no problem standing. Don't go into that aisle unless you're getting a bag down, and then you get back into your seat. And I know these airplanes are small and cramped and whatnot, but yeah, people that my pet peeve. And now I'm off on a tangent. Do not encroach into an aisle up further than you should be. Does that make sense?
It does.
I have that T-shirt from Homage. I'm gonna wear it sometime. But
I think of you every time I stand up. I'm like, I'm doing this just so I know it would piss Justin off.
It would. I'd be like, who the hell's this? Oh, freaking Joe. Oh man. So put your shopping carts away, and don't encroach on other people on the airplane too. Another wag of the finger goes to people that complain about season and series finales. Now, I recently finished Ozark, the final season. I'm not giving away any spoilers, but people that watched it know what it's about. It's basically the white trash Midwestern version of Breaking Bad. And, a lot of drug cartel stuff, a lot of violence and death, but it's really, really fun, and it's a really great show. Now, all I'm going to say is this. If you weren't happy with the ending, what do you expect? These people are great writers. They literally plan this stuff out. And, I get it. We all want the perfect ending. We all want that perfect ribbon on a show, but you're not always going to get that. And how many people like land that airplane perfectly? Not many. And to me, I think Ozark ended kind of appropriately if you look back at the indicators that were coming. So I think a lot of things were pointed out. So if you weren't happy with it, what can you do? You got the previous few seasons to look back on and remember as you can look back on fondly. So 2 other ones. Oh, three other ones. People that complain about what pro athletes make. Now, I will say there's a legitimate complaint to be made sometimes. Now, like the David Njoku thing. Okay, so he signed for, I believe it was 4 years, $56.75 million. I understand that he, in your mind, is not worth whatever that equals out to a year, 13 something. I get it. I totally get it. But aren't you worth what you get paid? You know what I'm saying? That's what the market says he's worth. Whether he hasn't put up that production, yeah, obviously he's not a Travis Kelce. He hasn't put up those numbers. However, he has shown flashes. He is still I think he's like something like 25 years old, and he's played in the NFL for 5 years. He is, if you look at him, he's a freak athlete and can do a lot of things. So I think the Browns are paying more on potential still and what he's going to do with Watson over Mayfield. And so if they franchise tag him and then he blows up this season, then they're on the hook for a lot more money next season. So I'm saying it is what it is. And I'm just using David Njoku as an example. Now, I do have some beefs with especially like Major League Baseball and their salary cap and whatnot. But who am I to say what this person's worth or this person's worth? If that's what the going rate is, that's what they're going to make. And I get, someone that's putting roofs on, or someone that's plumbing, or, a school teacher, or, which I used to be, or a lot of things. They're underpaid. Totally 100% agree. But that's apples and oranges, because we're not talking about the same thing. This is a free market system with only legitimately maybe at Njoku's position, there might be 30 people in the entire world that can do what he does. Being passing, blocking, running, all that stuff. And yeah, that's in the grand scheme of life, that's not as important as being a teacher or a doctor or a nurse or whatever. But that's the world we live in, and that's what people make. So
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
This just popped into my head.
Yeah.
What's to stop a team from spreading out a contract over like 30 years? Like if we said David and Joe, let's just say we'll pay him $2 million for the next 30 years.
I believe I would have to look at the collective bargaining agreement. I believe there's probably some language in there that there's probably X amount of finite terms where that can happen. Plus, a lot of people want guaranteed money up front. So if you're guaranteeing it over the course of however many years, I don't see
you're playing inflation, because in 30 years from now, $1 million or $2 million
right.
will be worth less. It takes only $2 million your cap space, so you can really load up your payroll, and you won't have to pay that consequence for 20 years.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sure that has been thought of by people much smarter than me in the GM world, but I for some reason don't think that's feasible based on the contract language. And I'm sure these agents want their money up front too, so they're probably pushing for deals. But I'm sure there has to be some sort of loophole where that can't be done as much. However, I will say, I think it's about a month from today, is that Bobby Bonilla Day, July 1st, every year until like 2036. And keep in mind, he's been retired for like 15 years. He will get paid like $1 million some every July 1st up until 2036. And that was just the way they worked the contract. So kind of like what you're saying,
rather the Browns don't have a problem paying ahead. I mean, I think we're still paying Hugh for, for his
probably
term,
not. Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, a lot of people like to spread that money out to, make your cap work for you. That's why I kind of said the cap's kind of like a fake thing, and the number is going to keep increasing with all these TV deals and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know. That's something we could look into. I would love to have someone on eventually that knows a lot about the salary cap in the NBA or NBA, MLB, and especially NFL, because that's where there's a lot of tinkering with the contracts that go on. That would be really interesting. All right, two final wag of the fingers. Then I'm going to get into a bunch of rando questions with Joe. Amber Heard. If you don't know who Amber Heard is, she's Johnny Depp's ex-wife. I have not been following that trial as closely as pretty much half of our country, but she's just an interesting person that has a lot of serious issues to deal with. And if you have not watched some of the snippets of the Amber Heard Johnny Depp defamation trial, definitely recommend checking that out. Have you seen any of it?
Accuses you of being crazy, point to those individuals and say, not even close.
Well, she, and again, this for, if I were a female, I wouldn't be able to stand Amber Heard, because she's giving a bad name to females, because she's basically admitting, hey, I accused Johnny Depp of this and this and this, but it's on tape that's saying they're going to believe me because you're the man, I'm the woman, and it's not a good look. And they catch her in a lie. Apparently, the divorce settlement was $7 million. She pledged that money, which, if anyone that works in charities and fundraising knows, a pledge doesn't mean it's kind of like an NFL contract. Yeah, we're going to pledge you $7 million over the next 2 years, but a pledge is a pledge. That doesn't mean they have to live up until that money is delivered. So she's saying,
I've never been able to spend a pledge before.
Exactly. You can't spend a pledge. You can pledge allegiance. You can do a lot of things, but you can't spend any of that pledge money. So people, like I said, in fundraising know what that means. But go watch that where Johnny Depp's lawyer, who's a female, goes at her really hard. It's really entertaining. So wag of the finger to Amber Heard. That's the first time on this show we brought her up, but very interesting stuff and very in pop culture topics. And then I'm going to give you 3 to kind of close it out, but they all involve one name, and that is and they're spelled differently: cruise ships, Tom Cruise, and Ted Cruz. Now, cruise ships, the Carnival Illustrate caught on fire this weekend.
I saw that.
And I mean, it looked like a massive fire. I would not want to be stuck on a cruise ship during COVID, during a fire, out in the middle of nowhere when, so cruise ships, wag of the finger.
Disney cruise ship got hit by a tornado too this last weekend.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, in Castaway Cay. So tornado.
Is that in Florida?
No, it's in Bahamas.
Bahamas.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I didn't even know you could, like a water spout?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Well, another wag of the finger. Tom Cruise, who's, again, made a great movie, great actor. He's just a weirdo. And then to get my trifecta in, Ted Cruz, I just don't like him. He's a d-bag. We're not going to talk politics, but you get it. Okay, Joe. So let's switch gears. This is going to be, if you don't know Joe Danier, Joe's our producer down here at Youngstown Studio. He owns the studio. A lot of times, tell him what you do on WKBN and stuff like that too.
So yeah, I started doing a lot of media. I love doing radio. I was a big talk junkie, so I used to listen to all the talk shows in the morning, and I practiced, talking to people with technology and computers, and got a gig on a radio, and been doing it ever since.
And your business ventures?
Yeah, Youngstown Computer, Youngstown Studio, Youngstown Makerspace. I mean, everything. Youngstown everything. Just put an underscore, and that's me.
Okay, yeah. So Joe's got his hands in a lot of different things around the Youngstown area. Huge proponent of the city and just the people of Youngstown, which is great. So Joe, this is going to be random, but I thought this would be fun, like kind of like a get to know Joe segment.
This should be interesting.
So I'm going to hit you with a lot of things that I hit guess.
Do I need to call my attorney first and make sure that
you can plead the fifth if you want on any of this, or just abstain and we'll skip the question. So that is your choice. So we're going to do about, I'll just say you can answer the question or you can elaborate as much as you want. I like to do this with a lot of guests, but Joe is like kind of a figure that's always here. So haven't really done this with him, but I thought this would be fun. All right. So Joe, 2 weeks ago today, May 17th, the Congress met and there was a bunch of that UFO investigations, alien speculation, all that stuff. Now, my question to you is there life out there? Or are we alone in this universe?
There is life out there, and it's probably here.
You think it's here on Earth?
Here on Earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think some of those UFO things that have been caught on tape, like the Tic Tac thing off the coast of San Diego and different things? What do you think those are? Are those legit, or are they just something maybe our government has manufactured?
Yeah, I think those are distractions, because those aren't good enough that if it were something that I think come on, we got all these cameras, high definition, and all the footage you ever see is grainy, yucky, can't make anything out. Yeah, that's all.
The most interesting thing I've heard about our technology, if you wrote a book, an 800-page book about since human civilization has been around, since the first humans walked the planet till today, only half of the last page would be in our lifetimes. Isn't that really interesting? And there was no technology before, 100 years ago, really.
All of a
sudden, boom. So when you say it might already be here, what do you mean?
I think that like it assimilated, and people that are here, got some roots and some alien blood for sure.
Okay. All right. We'll dive deeper into that in a future show.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I can see that in our future.
All right. Next question.
Yeah.
I got to preface this before I even ask you the question. Have you seen Goodfellas and The Godfather?
Yes.
Okay. Which is the better mob movie in your
You know
opinion?
what? I mix them up. Like I have scenes from both of them. I would say, man, I couldn't even choose because I have them so mixed
That's
up.
fine.
I say Godfather is
Okay.
probably it. It's probably the most notorious.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people like The Godfather 2 more than The Godfather. Now, obviously, Youngstown is known as a formerly a mafia hotbed or
Right.
whatever. I had mentioned I'm watching The Sopranos right now, and in season 4, they mention Youngstown like every show.
Mhm.
Like they don't go there, but one of the main actors is in prison there, and so probably right down the street.
Right.
But it's just really, really interesting with those connections. Now, I have only seen The Godfather, and it was like 20 years ago, a long, long time ago. But Goodfellas, I just watched this past weekend to kind of get ready for that breakdown we're doing. But I thought that was interesting, and you got to. I mean, and your last name ends in a vowel, so
Is there an accusation? This I feel
no,
like
no.
So all right, so let's just say the mafia was now. Like, what role if you were forced into being part of mafia? Would you be a hitter? Would you be the Don? Would you?
I just found out in Goodfellas, like if you're not 100% full blood Italian, you can't be like a made guy. So I mean, I'm English, Irish, German. So they'd be like, get the hell out of here.
You'd be
like,
the guy that hooks up the car bombs.
Exactly. Yeah, I would have to be one of their like fixers or somebody out on the street.
You'd be in betting. You'd be numbers guy, no doubt.
Okay.
No
okay.
doubt.
I could do that.
Yeah.
So, I would prefer something where my life wasn't involved, but probably the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward.
Was it Casino? Was that the what's his name? Was the numbers guy?
Well, it's been a long time since I've seen that. I know Joe Pesci and Sharon Stone, but I can't.
But De Niro was the numbers guy.
Yes.
Was that the one where Donnie Brasco? I can't remember. These all get mixed.
They all get mixed up.
Yep.
So, all right, let's switch. Here's a total random one. All right, you got 2 knees, you got 2 elbows.
Yeah.
But hypothetically,
where's this going?
You can only have one set of either. Are you picking knees or are you picking elbows?
I can only keep elbows or knees.
Yep.
I'm keeping knees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. I can make do.
Yeah, I think so.
I need to be able to move around,
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I think it'd be hard not to be able to use your hands or bend your arm, but yeah.
Can I like get rid of one on either side and maybe
see
have
that
lefties?
would be ideal, but that's not part of the deal. So
All
okay. Nope. All right. when it comes to parties, are you a thrower of parties or you are a goer of parties?
Thrower.
Okay. I prefer to be a goer because of the cleanup and all that stuff, but I'm generally a thrower. So, All right. Let me skip a couple of these because I already know the answer to some of them. All right. Are you a saver or are you a spender?
I'm a spender.
I think you look around the studio and that's probably obvious. Yeah. Okay. Would you rather, and I know you're not a big TV watcher, but would you rather watch TV or read a book?
Does audiobooks count?
No. It's got to be a tangible physical book.
All right, I'm watching a movie.
Okay. All right. Now you just went on a trip this weekend. Yeah. You travel a lot. If you could travel to only one of these 2 places, you could either go to the ocean or the mountains. Which one are you going to?
I'm going to the ocean.
Ocean?
Pick one. Yeah.
Okay. Any particular ocean?
I love
place?
Golf.
Okay.
Love ocean.
I agree.
I love Clearwater. Love Destin.
Okay.
Gulf of Mexico, baby.
Yeah, the Gulf of Mexico, and I frequent Sarasota a lot down there, and Longboat Key and Siesta Key. Like, to me, there's nothing better than the Gulf of Mexico. So agreed. Although, it'd be fantastic. You can go to Hawaii and you get both.
For sure.
Or like Lake Tahoe or whatever. Lake Tahoe is not the ocean, but there's a beautiful Lake Tahoe.
There you go.
So, all right. Would you rather watch, speaking of movies, a comedy or a horror movie?
Comedy.
Yep. Okay. Do you have a favorite?
Happy Gilmore. I mean, gotta go Adam Sandler.
Yeah, no doubt. Now you go camping a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Would you and I'm not trying to lead you, but would you rather live and stay in a city, or would you rather live or vacation in the country?
In the country.
Country?
Yeah, get me away from people.
Okay.
The less people, the better.
No disagreement there. No disagreement there. All right, let's skip a few of these. All right. Now, it's about 90 degrees outside, but there's been plenty of days this year that have been under 30. So, if you could have it your way, it's either every day of the year, it's either over 90 or under 30. Which are you picking?
Over 90.
Over 90?
100%. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, living in Ohio, I escape every chance I get to go somewhere where it's above 70 degrees. So
Okay.
definitely 90.
Okay. I already know the answer to these next questions. All right. If you are playing a game at home with your family or friends, are you playing a board game or a video game?
Board game.
Board game?
With board game.
Do you have a favorite?
Monopoly.
Monopoly.
I know that's
that's good. No, that's good. That's good. Any reason?
I grew up with that game, and I learned, most of business strategy, for being hardcore and, fighting with my siblings and, flipping the table like you're supposed to.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. It's very, very competitive.
For sure.
Very competitive. All right. Now, when you go on a trip or you're doing whatever, just randomly going out, are you more of a plan or are you more of a spontaneous person?
Total plan.
Plan?
Like every second of everything is planned out.
And you and your wife are probably the same way because she's a teacher, right?
Well, no, she's the squiggle.
Is she?
She likes spontaneous. So she has to tell me whether or not this is a planned trip where I know, the fuel mileage and what time and where we're stopping and whatever, or not. It's either nothing, like it's all spontaneous, or everything is planned.
I think I'm so planned out in life that when I go and do something like that, I'd rather be that way, spontaneous, and just let the day come at me however it may. So I don't know.
So what's it like? I mean, like if you want to go do something, like I think of all the reservations and things you got to do ahead of time. Like you got to miss out on something.
Yeah,
right?
That's a good point. Yeah, like if you're going to Disney or if you're going to some sort of festival or whatever, there's a lot that goes into that. So there is a lot of planning and it's hard to be spontaneous. So I guess spontaneous maybe on like a random night out where you're maybe going to just randomly pick a restaurant or a bar or a movie or something like that. Or even on a trip. I've heard of people like coming up to a stop sign and like right or left, and
let's go.
Let's go. So
when we were in our trip this weekend, we were driving and we saw a hot air balloon launching site. We were like, hey, let's go ride in a hot air balloon.
Yeah.
And it'd been nice if you'd reserved it like last year this time, but no, you're not going to stop.
Get
in a balloon and go,
I love George Carlin's joke about people that ride around in hot air balloons. He's like, I hate those rich bastards that fly around the world in hot air balloons. I hope the next one gets struck by lightning and flies around in little fart circles.
I love George
I can bring anything back to George Carlin. All right, let's see. Now, in school, were you more of an, I think this is an obvious answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Were you more of an English guy or a math guy?
Math guy.
Math guy or science guy?
Science.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, some questions are obvious, but you never know.
See, I almost want to change things up because I don't want to be predictable. And if you know me, if you got my number, I need to be different.
No doubt. No doubt. All right. This is coming back to sports here, but tying into movies and two actors that are two of the funnier actors of their time, Adam Sandler and Will Ferrell. Which would you pick?
Oh shit! Don't do this to me, man. That's
so
a tough
here,
pick.
let me. I'm gonna just read you some of the sports movies that Adam Sandler has done. Happy Gilmore, The Longest Yard, The Waterboy, obviously. And Uncut Gems, which is one I actually still haven't seen, but he plays a little darker one in that. Then there's for Will Ferrell, Semi-Pro, whether you like it or not, Talladega Nights, Kicking and Screaming in the soccer one, or Blades of Glory. So there's a couple different options in there, but you don't have to pick a movie, but an actor that you could have in either movie.
I'm going with Will Ferrell because there's been some stinkers in the Sandler world. That's the only reason, because I like both of them a lot.
Yeah. I think Will Ferrell, and I might be going out on a limb here, could play a more versatile character than Adam Sandler. Maybe could be wrong on that.
Well, even those ones like Gems or one of the Little Nicky or whatever, when they kind
Yeah.
of go out of that realm, it's a little off. What
Little
was that one
Nicky
where he
was
dressed
bad.
up with their dressed up as a girl.
It was
and-
like Alice or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was not
He was a
good.
sister. That was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a straight stinker on that one. Let's skip that one. All right. All right, I gotta ask you this question. This is a random one. Do you know how many towns? This is a Youngstown trivia question. Do you know how many towns or townships or cities touch the city of Youngstown border? Can you name them? First of all, I'll ask how many do you think there are?
Can I count them in my head? Will I do it? Sorry.
Yep.
I'm going to go Canfield, Boardman, Poland, Struthers, Camel, Lowville, maybe? I don't think Lowville touches. Am I going with Lowville?
You're going with Lowville.
All right. Going with Lowville. Hubbard, Gerard, McDonald. McDonald. Okay. Austintown.
I'll just say you missed 2.
Okay. What'd I get? What?
Coatesville.
Okay.
And Liberty.
Oh.
So I think that's 11 if we do it again. So we'll go along the southern edge of Youngstown. Canfield, Boardman, Poland, Struthers, Camel, Lowville, and then like kind of the eastern side, Coatesville. Then northern side, Hubbard, Liberty, Gerard, McDonald, and then the west side would be Austintown. Okay. So yeah, very good job. Sweet. Did pretty good job there.
I lassoed it in my memory.
Now, do you have a favorite suburb excluding Struthers?
Favorite suburb excluding
Struthers? Because I know Struthers means a lot to you guys with the teaching and the business there. So excluding Struthers, do you have a favorite suburb of Youngstown?
Yeah, the second city that would probably, well, I grew up in Girard, so that's got to be my go-to like runner-up.
That's fair.
They've been good to me, but I would say, Poland's probably the next one on the list.
Interesting. Okay, that's good. Poland's a nice little town. It really is. Home of the MLO bros and home of the. Well, there's a few negatives in there too.
Do I get the name? I hate it because Liberty's on my hatred.
Oh yeah, sure.
Liberty's hated by me.
And then Gerard.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you remember this map that made its rounds like a year and a half ago of Youngstown with like just the funny little footnotes on each community. But but I'm going to read you just some from Gerard.
Okay.
It's a little too close to Warren for comfort. Home of hot dogs.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
Had a Tim Hortons for about 8 minutes. Eats, sleeps, and breathes Tim Ryan. Speed traps on 422.
Oh, those were the worst.
And basically an extension of the West Side.
Yeah.
Oh, and dive bars too.
Yeah.
Dive bars
too.
So Gerard.
And tattoo shops.
Okay.
Dive bars.
Yeah, we could add tattoo shops to that as well. We'll spend a little bit more. Maybe we'll spend a day on each community and just have a little fun with it because there's so many good ones I want to dive deep into on this one. All right. Let's ask a few more here.
Okay.
All right.
These are fun.
I try to make them like a little bit of thinkers. So
some of them are unfair though, because especially I'm still holding you accountable for the Will Ferrell and Adam Sandler one.
Yeah, that one's tough.
You made me take one of my loves and crash them on the ground.
Sometimes that's what our choices do. Like when you come to a fork in the road, you got to take it.
That's right.
Would you rather wear like a sweater and winter clothes outside in a day like today? Or would you rather wear summer clothes in a freezing cold day?
I would say summer clothes in the winter.
Okay. All right.
Because that's really, I've done that like as a kid. Everybody would show up at junior high in shorts. It was like 20 degrees outside. And I lived and it was not bad.
Agreed. But
you put a freaking woolly sweater on there right now, you're gonna feel that.
I 100% agree. Give me the like, because I still wear shorts now today when it's like taking out the trash or whatever, like, and it's freezing outside. It is what it is. All right, couple more here. Would you rather have a brain freeze every time you eat anything, or would you rather stub your toe every time you get out of bed?
Brain freeze.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I fast though.
Okay,
So I
that's
eat very
true.
little anyhow.
That's true.
And I can take a brain freeze here and there.
Okay. All right.
Stub your toe. Those are the worst.
Yeah, agreed. All right, now this is I'm gonna stray away from this question, but if you could have any superpower, whether it's superhero ones or anything outside the box, do you have one in mind that you would
My
pick?
whole life I've been dreaming about. I've been trying to develop it since I was a kid.
What's that?
Telekinesis, being able to move
Ooh.
shit around with my mind.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you think that?
Let me expand on that.
Yeah.
I used to lay as a kid underneath my ceiling fan and try to make it spin with my mind, like hours and hours and hours, and trying to control the stupid ceiling fan.
Spoiler alert, it probably didn't work.
It did not. No, I'm still working on it.
Do you believe that power eventually will exist?
Yes, I do.
How do you think we come about that? Or that's the $1 million question.
Well, I'm not going to give my secret away. I've been working on this shit for a while. Why, you want to take a shortcut and beat me there? Come on.
Let's just have you and Elon get together and make that happen. All right. Would you rather be a good singer and a bad dancer, or would you rather be a bad dancer? Or I'm sorry, a bad singer and a good dancer?
I'll be a bad singer and a good dancer.
Bad singer and a good dancer. Okay. All right. Would you rather be stuck on a broken ski lift or stuck in a broken elevator?
Oh, ski lift for sure.
Mhm.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
I think the view would be nice.
It would.
Yeah,
unless
it was freezing, but
Yeah.
All right.
I don't want to be in an elevator and I'd get somebody stinky in there. And,
Yeah.
just no doubt.
Okay. All right. Would you rather? I don't like that one. All right. Live for a month, an entire month. You'll have all the supplies you need, but would you rather live for an entire month in Antarctica or for an entire month in the Sahara Desert? So either the hottest place or the coldest place on Earth.
I'd have the supplies so I could survive. So it's more of an enjoyment thing. Would I like to be in the snow?
Well, I'll tell you what, to preface that, we'll give you a backpack full of anything you want to fill in it. So not everything you need, but we'll give you a backpack. All right,
I'm going to do Sahara.
Okay.
If you give me some tools, I could probably figure out a way to not die.
Okay.
But I'd probably freeze to death if it was in Antarctica, because you can't escape the cold if there's no heat source. At least you can,
Okay.
I'm going with heat
I think that's fair. I like that. That's a good answer.
I'm kind of overthinking these a little bit.
No, that's good. All right. Would you never use social media again, or never watch TVs or movies again?
I'd get rid of social media in a heartbeat.
Okay.
I like my movies.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think I'm on the same. All right. Now, I heard this very interesting topic, and we'll do like two more because it's inching closer to time. But someone put this out there, and forgive me, I believe he studies at the University of Connecticut. I can't think of the scientist's name, but he has theorized that once time travel is possible, you cannot travel back. You can only travel forward, but you can travel back in the future, but only to that point in time when time travel was created.
Right.
So my question to you is, if you could go anywhere in the future, or if you're living in the future, you could travel back, what would you do? What would your plan be if you had some access to time travel?
I'd do the Biff thing. I'd do, be able to travel around and find out, what I know now. And go, well, no, that wouldn't work. I mean,
now here's another layer of that. So that creates like a multiverse type situation. Now, other people might have access to time travel as well. So are there really any problems, or are there really any consequences? Because if you can go and do something stupid, and you could just go back in time to the moment before that happened, it's almost like a butterfly effect type thing. Does that still exist, or are there consequences?
No, I mean, I think you mentioned it. The multiverses, there's an infinite amount of possibilities. You just join another future or past that had that set of consequences, but the other one stays unchanged. So you exist in all of the multiverses.
Now, do you age if you time travel?
Probably, I'm guessing.
So let's say hypothetically I went forward 30 years and was there for like 2 or 3 years, and then I time traveled back. Would I have aged 3 years, or would I still be the same age as when I initially came back?
Well, you can hedge it where you can travel minus 3 years, so you can untravel yourself.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Very good. All right.
What would be your use for time travel? Because
I think
we could solve all of humanity's problems, and I'll bet
Yeah,
like Biff did.
You know what? And that would be the noble thing to do. And I would probably eventually, after I had some fun with it, come back to that. But I would just be curious. I would just want to know what life's like in 50 years and 100 years. You know, like, have we solved the shit that bothers us? That, are we still fighting with each other? Are we still?
I can answer that. Yes, we are. We have not solved it.
Yes,
it'll be just as jacked up as it is today.
Is the world
Spoiler.
Is the world like a decent place to live, or is it totally collapsed on itself? You know what I mean?
Right.
So a lot of big questions, and I could come up with 100 different questions there. But
have the Browns ever won a Super Bowl?
Yeah, have the Browns won a Super Bowl yet in the year 2150? So let's hope so by then.
Yes.
But all right, here's another random one. Would you rather be a movie star or a rock star?
Movie star.
Any reason why?
I don't know. I already gave up my ability to sing on the last one.
That's true.
Right? So, yeah.
Okay.
I can't see myself as a singer.
Okay.
Really
No, that's fair.
Riff the guitar.
Yeah. I am a better singer, as the alcohol flows or when I'm in the shower. But besides that, no one wants to hear this guy sing.
No,
and karaoke in Japan, you know what that means? It stands for tone deaf.
That's me.
Interesting fact there. All right. Last one. I love this one.
Oh, no.
Would you rather be good looking but punched in the face every morning, or ugly?
Ugly. I'll take ugly every day. I'm making it work today.
All right. That's a good one. I like it. All right, we'll end it there. So that was fun. Just want to remind you guys that Thursday's show will be an NBA Finals. Little preview, but it's going to be more of a holistic look at both franchises and their best players of all time. We're going to create a 12-man roster for the Boston Celtics and a 12-man roster for the Golden State Warriors. We'll have some honorable mentions in there, but we're going to create a 12-man team for each of those squads, talk about their best all-time teams. And then next Tuesday's show will be a movie breakdown of the movie Goodfellas, starring Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci, who else is in that? Robert De Niro, so many others. So that should be a lot of fun. Appreciate you guys all watching from Youngstown Studio. Follow us, 5-star review if you're on podcasts, all that good stuff. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. If you like our programming, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Facebook page, or subscribe to your favorite podcast platform like iTunes or Spotify. This is original Youngstown content, and we would appreciate you sharing the videos and the word about us.